Well, we've Al, what do you want to do? We've hacked into the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And the robot.
I am a robot coming out of the science bathtub.
With no shirt.
Not wearing a top. I'm not wearing a top, okay? And I am being birthed into Spoiler City. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you got there, but that's how I was birthed into Spoiler City.
That's how we were all. We were all there.
So typically, friends who listen to this podcast every time, you know that I do the synopsis. The last couple times we've had a guest, our guests have chosen not to do the synopsis. Our guests today have given me a sweet vacation from tippy-tappy typing on my computer for much too long while watching a movie, and they will be doing the synopsis today. So I, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, especially after the day that I've had, which is, I would say, has been better the last hour and a half. Now, who would like to go first?
Or how are you?
Do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to kick it off?
I can kick it up.
Go for it.
Yeah, you kick it up.
Yeah,
why don't you got to kick it up?
Si se puede. I
gotta
can do that.
Si se puede.
All right. We have our lovely main characters, May and Gabby. I love a friend. That makes it sound like I don't have many.
I love a friend.
I do love a good friendship. Like I love when people are just like, yeah, you're stuck with me. We're exactly the same. Let's do this. So they're both in 10th grade. They're both very intelligent young women. And after being quite publicly embarrassed by our mean girl head cheerleader, Nevaeh.
It's heaven backwards.
It is heaven backwards.
Unfortunately.
It kind of sets off the course of the entire movie. She's embarrassed by Nevaeh because May thinks that Jaden, the Noah Centineo character, who she tutors, is going to ask her to the homecoming dance, and Nevaeh's pulling it. Absolutely not. And this is where we get into her kind of fumbling over her words and saying, no, I have a boyfriend. And she does the Marsha Brady, where, George Glass. We think of Albert, the very first name that comes to mind. Rather than just having to say, like, yeah, he goes to another school, you don't know him. Gabby's like, no, we can totally program him on that like cool video game development software that your dad just has laying around the house with open access. Not a password or security clearance or, two-factor authentication. I feel like it's harder for me to log into my work email than it was for them to hack into the Pentagon.
Well, that's the thing is it is still the Pentagon, and he has like a locked room, but she's just so smart that she can get past it because Gabby's a genius.
Yeah. I mean, like, I do understand she's a genius. I guess I'm just worried about.
I'm more concerned.
Yeah, that she could get into it. And so they have this wonderful session where they're sitting together listing all of these qualities that they want this boyfriend to have. He's going to have blue eyes and brown hair, no blonde. Like he's going to be all of these things. And they kind of short circuit the entire system. They have like a big kind of like shock moment, and it sends this X-17 robot, who is not actually a video game character, but a robot owned by the government through the Pentagon, sends him into this, what did you call it, Al? The goo?
Yeah, like the science bathtub.
A science bath. It's like all blue and swishing around.
Kind
and
of like
Westworld
in Rocky Horror Picture Show, where he's like
exactly.
That's definitely the comp I was going to make in Wolverine in the X-Men movies. Right on board with you all. Yeah.
Yeah. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And the robot himself has a very like iRobot look to it, where it's like the crash test dummy kind of like white android figure. But when he comes out of this bath, they made a hot teenager.
A hot 25-year-old teenager.
Yeah, a hot definitely has done this grade several times.
Has done his taxes himself for a few years.
Yeah.
The Kaneki of teenagers.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where we run into Bart Hartley. Again, May's brother Bart agrees to help fix the computer system that they broke if Gabby will go to homecoming with him. Gabby has expressed no interest in boys. She does not have time of day for them. She is not interested, but she agrees. And then Albert arrives at the school, and all of a sudden he is popular. He's getting along with people. He has a social media page, and he's added like half the school.
Yeah, Nevaeh
Albert-
is friend 82.
Yeah, Albert
Right.
is taken off. Albert can basically just anything you could do, I could do better, because he is a super government robot, so everybody loves him. And then this is where we start to run into the government kind of stepping in and being like, whoa, where's our robot? We
Yeah.
would like it back.
Whoa. Where'd it go?
An alternate title for the movie is Dude, Where's My Robot? And it's from the point of view of the dad and the general.
Yes.
I do love in this point when we're learning about Albert, two things. One, his license plate says Meowsers. So you know that he doesn't take himself too seriously in his sports car.
Fun guy.
Also,
and
how did
two,
he get his car registered?
Where did he get it?
he clearly stole that car from a cat owner. Clearly.
Tony
Garfield?
or the Cheez-It man.
Chester?
Chester, thank you.
From the Cheez-It Man.
Cheetos.
That's what I meant, Cheetos. Oh my
Cheetos.
God.
The Cheetos cheetah.
The Cheetos Cheetah becomes a Cheez-It Man as he ages.
I'm sorry, you guys.
The school montage of like Albert getting to know all of the school folks. They're called kids. Well, I don't know why I said folks. There's clearly going to be a frog dissection, and he saves the frog. Why were the frogs alive?
Alive.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, he obviously had to do a rescue mission. They just like, we're gonna murder these amphibians and then dissect them. That's the plan.
And Gabby's like excitedly holding one. She's
So
like,
ready.
We're about to cut this open.
So after like Albert's really kind of integrated himself into the school, he's really becoming a part of everything. And this is where Gabby and May start to like butt heads a little bit, because May is like, you know, she's kind of into it. She doesn't totally feel like she deserves all this attention and stuff from him, but she's super into it. And Gabby's like, this has gone too far. Like we need to backtrack. We need to stop. And May is a little bit more kind of hesitant to do so, especially because she's going to get to go to homecoming with him and rub it in everyone's face, looking at you, Nevaeh.
Yeah. And I'd say that's like ukulele is like halfway.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So
Evan, do you want to talk about the hostile government takeover?
who doesn't? So ukulele scene, aka pain and torture, is in the middle of this. And then we again jump cutting back to the lab with the Pentagon officials and with May's dad. We learn that Black Sigma is after the X-17 Sigma guys, you know, not just alphas, Sigmas. No betas coming after these guys. The Black Sigma group is just entered generic European bad guys. It's just three of them. Accents you can't fully place. You know, they're Eastern Bloc. That's about it.
We call them goons.
They're 100% goons. They are such goons.
Val started calling them baddies.
Yeah, baddies.
Oh,
Which apparently makes me very old, because
Baddie
baddie
sounds-
means something else now.
yeah, baddie.
Yeah,
Like
it does,
now,
yeah.
every time I say the word baddie, I want to be like like that's yeah. You got to be like baddies.
If you said there were a bunch of baddies coming after him, I'm like picturing everyone who danced with Rihanna at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who's coming for this role. A
Yes.
bunch of baddies.
And bitch better have my money. No.
Yeah.
So
Bitch better have my robot.
Gabby is trying to tell me like this is not a normal boy, because they now know that her dad does not work for the video game design company, that he actually works for the government and for the Department of Defense. Tells May that she needs to initiate self-destruct, and they get into a deeper argument. So they are even more upset. Earlier in the movie, Albert had been at football practice and just showed up Jaden consistently, just made him look like a complete schmuck as they're losing a football game. So again, Albert is not on the team. He is just in the crowd distracting onlookers. The coach has the running back get hurt and he goes, you get down here. He takes off his shirt. I think one of the women dies just instantly. She just collapses from how hot he is. Albert catches a touchdown. He clearly is a robot. You can see him zooming across the field, which is always fun. He catches touchdowns and they win. Sports, isn't that great?
Was that his Courtney Cox moment, like her getting pulled on stage with Bruce Springsteen?
Oh my God.
When the coach was like, "You football."
You're gonna be famous.
Also, the coach was hot. Sorry, had to say it.
Yeah, fair.
Sorry.
No, that's fair.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
The prototype. So Albert is found out. X-17 is found out because the cops who were at the house of May's house and Bart's house are watching clips of a high school football game on the phone because they're making a comeback. And also, these are the best shot high school football game clips of all time. They are close-ups from the goal line of him doing a dive into the end zone. I was like, that's also an unrealistic part of the movie. I don't care about the robots. Just like they don't have camera work like that in high school. The Black Sigma do set off an EMP that causes Albert to short circuit and the lights to roll out. I will say, if an EMP blast goes off, a kid starts like violently shaking like that, and the lights all go out, I too will freak out like the crowd does. So that's a good decision. Gabby says to May, like, everyone's after your boyfriend, your dad, the army, everyone. We then get what was the actual opening scene of the movie, which was Black Sigma getting captured and May and Gabby having to turn themselves over to the government and, more importantly, probably to May's dad, who was not happy.
But Dad!
But Dad! They essentially let May and Gabby off. They're just like, yeah, kids will be kids. That's fine.
But they have ulterior motives.
They do. It's because he's not going to stop until he gets his prime directive, which when he was created was to kiss May at the homecoming dance, which based on the homecoming dance scene starts in the middle of the day. That dance starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time because the shadows on the trees are directly below them. So just little things. The army rolls up to get Albert and they realize they have to not crash the actual homecoming dance. They have to wait until he completes his mission. May, because of her newfound popularity, gets introduced to the Mayflowers, who are obsessed with her because she's dating Albert. Weird. Very weird vibes there. The army influences like the homecoming queen decision. They stuff the ballot box to make sure that she wins. Nevaeh, our mean girl, who is so good at being a mean girl, I think has her world crumbling around her after this. Jaden admits to Bart and Gabby that he wanted to ask May to the dance after he breaks up with Nevaeh. And they're like, oh, Gabby's like, boys have feelings, like good feelings. He's not just a meathead. And it's the first time she's ever thought of that before in her life.
Sorry, Evan. I also truly love the idea of there being someone in the army who is like a elite trained like Navy SEAL sniper type guy whose mission is to go stuff a high school ballot box.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm overqualified for this job.
He was like, I did a tour in Iraq and now I'm here stuffing a ballot box.
I told them where Osama was and now I'm doing this.
Oh my God.
So Gabby and May meet. May says she's like not fulfilled. Essentially, Gabby apologizes, even though like probably May should have apologized first, but that's fine. Gabby seems to have a lot of emotional intelligence. She had already kind of come around at this point. Side note: female lieutenant who we love briefly falls in love with the principal.
Yes. Love that.
From a distance, moment. She's like that man, and I wish them all the best.
She knows he's taking tango lessons.
Yeah,
exactly. She can tell from his body.
I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
The kiss is going to happen. Albert and May are going to kiss, and then May pulls back because she wants a real boy who she hasn't created in the lab somewhere. I want a real boy. I don't know why that was Mickey Mouse, but that's fine. May then initiates the self-destruct in the middle of the gymnasium. Now, May and Gabby are both very smart people. The decision to blow up your boyfriend in the middle of the homecoming dance may not be the smartest decision because he, in some terrible CGI, starts just glowing lights. He explodes. out into space. Like he shoots off like a rocket.
Yeah.
So self-destruct isn't actually explosion. It's leaving, which is fine. In a moment that I truly love, Nevaeh finds May's homecoming queen crown on the ground and gets it. And I was like, good for her. She needed this. She just got broken up with. She really needs this.
Yeah.
Jaden, it appears, was good at math. He says that like he notices the curve of the Albert's trajectory, I guess, and was like, yeah, I didn't actually need math tutoring. I just really like my tutor. And will you dance with me later? And she was like, I'll dance with you later. And then said, no, boy's more important than friendship. And then Gabby Loki's like, by the way, kind of into your brother now. He's worn me down, and I kind of want to hang out with him. And that's where we get the kind of good callback line that you mentioned earlier, Val. So they've built a better boy, and then he's disappeared. And now Jaden's going to be the better boy, or Bart, depending on how you look at it. Both boys are better, even though we just knew that Jaden is now better at math, and Bart still drives a decommissioned taxi cab. So, and that's the movie.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
So good. One thing I wrote that I like didn't notice before, but comprehensive of this story is like two things that I really like about this that are unique from like some of the other ones we've watched recently. One is that because you have two protagonists who are kind of similar but different, right? You get to see two different reactions to the same things, right? And like I think that that's really cool because like we get to see May, who's more kind of desperate and like envies the people who are popular and doesn't like to be kind of categorized as like a dork. Like that's where that spork line came from, because like Gabby's trying to like protect her, right? Like they didn't call us dorks. And Gabby is like fully embracing, this moniker and this like personality. And she's like, yeah. And then we find actually right after the ukulele performance that she has their whole lives planned, right?
Yes.
Like they're gonna be go to Harvard together, and they're gonna be president and vice president and all this stuff. And May says, oh, when were you gonna tell me that you had my entire life planned? Which I found really interesting because like clearly these girls only spend time with each other, but still, because Gabby just kind of assumed that May thought the same way she did, like she didn't think she needed to tell her because she thought she already knew, right? And I think that's why she apologizes first, because
that's fair.
Like she did kind of misunderstand and thus have no patience for May's like quote unquote nonsense, right? Because like she just didn't understand it. And I like that. I also like that every single person in this movie, except for the robot, has been there the whole time. So there's not like I'm new to this school and I have to like meet everybody and learn everything. And the first person I meet is my best friend. It's like, no, these are all really like lived in, like relationships and characters and stuff like that. And I think that that's like a fresh look that we don't get to see as often as like the new in town kind of trope.
So many decoms are like fish out of water or like new to town.
Exactly.
So you're right. It is very strange for them to have just the like here from the jump, aside from the robot boy, like everybody has been here. All these are well established. They've all been friends for a long time. Like it's not entirely weird that Gabby, if she's going to be like, oh, I like a boy, it's probably a boy she's known for a while, but you would assume. So it all kind of makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's great. Like have their circumstance change instead of like you're new and like we see everything from your perspective that's new.
I also like just really identified with Gabby throughout a lot of this movie, like thinking back to when I was in like middle school and high school. And while there was that part of me that was like, man, I really hope a boy notices me, there was such a significantly larger part of me that was like, if I'm going to get in trouble for something, nothing is worth that. Like May is briefly blinded by the idea of like going to homecoming with Albert and like the actual chance to like have this cool boyfriend and everyone is paying attention to her. Whereas Gabby much earlier hits that point of like, we got to back off. We gotta take a step back. And that would 100% have been me. I would have had a friend who was like, this is my shot with the popular guy. And I'd be like, we are going to get in so much trouble. The Pentagon are looking for us. Like
it took until like the last day of school for us to convince Mallory to ever skip a class in high school.
Wow. I don't think
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
ever skipped a class in high school. I skipped a lot of classes in college, but I did not skip anything in high school.
We had to get permission from the teacher who ran that class to be okay with it, and they were. And so
Wow.
I had an older brother who like opened so many doors for me for like going out and staying out. And then like when it was my turn, my parents were like, "Okay, you have to be home by this time." I was like, "How about an hour earlier? Why not?" Okay.
you're like, I've got
if-
things to do at home.
Yeah, if I would have like voluntarily, you want to breathalyze me? Sure. Yeah, I'm too scared to drink because you're gonna know. You're gonna know. Yeah. So I really identified with Gabby as someone who was a bit more like pragmatic in the
Yeah.
situation and like came to that realization sooner.
Yeah. That's so funny. Amazing. Cool. Any other like things? Yes, Al.
Thank you, Val. I realized immediately after I did it, but I didn't want to cut anyone off because I would never do that. I never gave this movie a rating.
Oh no. Okay.
I think this is the first time I forgot.
It is. Definitely.
So after 4 years, I think it's okay.
Hmm.
But I'm going to rate this movie a 5. So it's kind of right down the middle for me. It's fine.
I mean, that's honestly halfway decent for you. You're a pretty
Yeah.
harsh critic. So
yeah, I am.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm glad we got that in.
Thank you.
All right. Are we good to go to bingo?
Bingo
Yeah,
time.
let's do it.
All right.
One hit wonder song.
There is a song, but I think it's sung by them. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah. Are you talking about Something Real?
The first song, like the opening credits song.
Anyone here thinks Selena Gomez is a one-hit wonder?
She's got at least 2 hits.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
At
I
minimum.
tried, Evan. I tried.
so I mean, Kelly Berglund and China Anne McClain are not like known for being singers.
Yeah.
So I guess you could theoretically.
I don't.
count-
I feel like the Descendants movies for China McClain
Yeah, that's
true.
might
That's
disagree with
That's
with
true.
That
either.
That's
is
true. That's
there.
true.
It is. I,
I
I
forgot
also
she's in
think
those.
the word that does a lot of lifting in that is hit.
Yeah,
This song, it's a song.
Yes.
it is a song.
We use it very loosely in our interpretation for this
Definitely.
particular square. But yeah, I
Mhm.
don't think you're right because China Anne McClain has done all the Descendants movies, so she has a lot of songs. And then all the other songs are like definitely not like one hit wonder songs.
Yeah.
So I think that's a no.
That's a no.
Cool.
All right.
Breaking the fourth wall, looking into the camera. I didn't clock any of this.
I didn't either.
We had no wall breaks. There was no.
I mean, we had a ceiling break, but I don't think that's what you're going for.
Yeah, it's gonna cost. It's gonna cost some money to replace. But no, I don't think we have that one either.
No. I don't think we-
Okay. Holiday theme.
Not unless you got
Nope.
Homecoming.
Homecoming.
It does lead me to the question: how big are homecoming dances in America? Like, is
They're
it a
pretty big.
trope or is it like it's a real deal?
No, it's pretty.
No, they're
real.
pretty big.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a pretty big deal.
because
Yeah.
they are not in
No.
Canada.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
to your point too, because you brought it up of like this dance started at like 2 p.m. People will get together, and I know you were like doing it based off of where the sun is in the sky, which I do as well. But people will get together before dinner and take
Mhm.
pictures outside, and then go to dinner, and then go to the dance.
Mhm.
So it's kind of around like
Okay.
4:00.
Because like
That's
we did
true.
that for prom, like,
Yeah.
like literally for like your grade 12 prom, like that was it, and then
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah,
never
no,
a
we had tons
homecoming.
of dances.
Yeah, we have Homecoming, and then either it's called like Turnabout or Sadie Hawkins or whatever, where like the girls
Mm.
ask the boys.
Yeah,
And then prom. At least those 3. And then
Mhm.
some schools have even more than that.
okay. It was
yeah.
always something I was wondering. I was like, because there's lots of movies that have homecoming as a thing, and homecoming for us is just like not a real thing.
Do you is it because of maybe football? Like
So
football's
we-
not so big?
We like played like we had football teams
We
and like
had
we played
football.
games and stuff like that. We'd have like buyouts to like watch the games and stuff like
And-
that. We'd have pep rallies, but never like a homecoming dance.
And like we had dances, but like I guess maybe Evan, like our semi is
yeah,
probably
we had like
closest
a
to homecoming.
semi-formal, which was essentially like a prom that was for everybody, whereas regular
that's
prom is for
homecoming.
seniors.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it would
Yeah.
happen like
December.
December.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, Al, you might have had it different, but like for us, Homecoming is obviously in the fall, right? Because it's during the football
Tied to a
season.
football
And then-
game.
And then our like winter dance was that like Turnabout dance where the girls
Mm.
ask the
Same.
boys. And that was usually like January, February, and then prom was in the spring. And like you guys, prom was only some schools had junior prom and then senior prom, but ours, like my school, only had senior prom.
Yeah.
Did someone here go to 5 proms?
5?
And I didn't
Wow.
even go to my prom.
I was
You
gonna say,
barely
I
went to one.
Yeah. Shut up.
Clunky metaphor. I mean, I guess the whole concept of dating a robot is a pretty significant metaphor, right? The perfect man cannot exist kind of thing.
There's
Wow.
also and during the beginning when May is attempting to teach Jaden about a math concept. I don't remember which one.
Uses a metaphor.
She
You're
uses a really weird football metaphor where she was like, imagine the free safety is
right.
3.
It's like weirdly
and
sexy.
the quarterback is yeah, she's whispering it to him, and I was like, I get you're in a library, but damn. So like I was like, I clocked that as like a weird metaphor, but also the movie is also kind of a weird metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, like this box is sort of because of things like the 13th year, where like turning into a mermaid is a metaphor for puberty, right? Like it's just this very obvious metaphor. So yeah, I think in this case, like the idea of like a perfect person doesn't exist, and that is what that is illustrating.
I don't know,
us.
Val. You know me.
This is true, but
she says as she rolls her eyes.
No,
as a gun to
you're
her
right.
head. Tell me I'm perfect.
But I can't date you either.
Wow, so true. The perfect person, undateable.
So parents who just don't get it. I'm inclined to say yes to this, but not for like the obvious reason. It's not like, oh, this dad doesn't know who his kid's teacher is. It's like, no, there's a big disconnect between this parent and what is happening with these children.
He doesn't know where his wife is.
He doesn't know where his wife is. He doesn't know that the robot's gone. He's not the one that figures that out. Like he's not checking it on his own house.
He lets Bart completely work him. Like,
oh yeah,
just top to bottom. Yeah. I definitely.
Bart could have robbed him in that moment.
Yeah.
He would have had no idea.
Exactly. Okay, great. That one counts.
Cool non-parent adult. I think we have many candidates here. I think we have the principal. I think we have Jenks as an option. And I think we have the football coach.
Yes.
I think we have a couple of options.
I agree.
Hot coach, cool coach.
Hot coach counts.
Thank you, Evan. Someone too famous for a TV movie. Roger Bart?
Maybe.
They got Snoopy. They did it.
They got Hercules.
They got Hercules.
I think that he counts because he was already pretty well known at that point.
I think so.
Like, I think someone might be like, oh, well, Noah Centineo's too famous. No, this is like his bread and butter. It's how he came up.
Not then,
Yeah. Cool. Competition to resolve central problem.
Question.
I don't think Homecoming Queen counts.
Oh.
I mean, if you all disagree with that, I'm happy to be overruled, but I don't think it's
They stuffed the ballot.
Right.
So that he would kiss her, which is a competition. And if there wasn't a competition, would he be here in the first place?
Even if she didn't win Homecoming Queen. Like, to me, it felt kind of pointless. Like, I mean, I understand why they had her win and like Nevaeh had to lose. And that was very funny. But I don't know that it resolved the central conflict. Like,
plus it wasn't a free and fair election, you know?
It wasn't. Because, like, you know, we're this box, again, you know, created sort of in the vein of like
going to the mat.
Eddie's $1 Million
or
Cook-Off.
like Brink, or like any of these ones where it's like, I'm going to race you and prove that you're wrong, you're a bad person, you know, or something like that. Like, those are the kinds of things that this is technically for.
All right, fine, Val.
If she had beaten her, if that was like the whole point, like, remember Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior? Like, that was like literally the point of the movie, right? So like winning Homecoming was important to that movie. Okay. Sorry.
This is a real like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie territory we're wading into here.
We take this very seriously.
We do.
Our bingo card.
Okay. Next up we have a montage sequence. I feel like if you're willing to count his like Albert integrating into the school moments
Ooh, yeah.
as a montage,
Yeah.
it's maybe not the like traditional. It's like it's not like there's like a training montage or there's
Right.
not like
Yeah.
A trying
moving
on
across
clothes.
trying on
Yeah.
clothes, moving across the country.
Yeah.
Like there's not one of those. But I will say I feel like his time at the school, there were some fairly like shortcuts
Yes.
to like switch between stuff.
His school intro, I feel,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
warrants montage.
I think there's even like the intro, like after the opening scene, and we establish like Gabby and May, the like opening credits music happens over like a montage of their room, which is like to show that they're best friends. Where it's like, here's the
Like
photo
all
of
the
them together
pictures.
here.
Yeah.
Here's, and it's really like, that's like they're establishing like these two are really close.
Yes.
But like definitely the better montage is the Albert becomes friends with everybody
And freeze the frogs. Yes.
and frees the frogs.
yes. I definitely think we have
Freeze.
at least
The
it
frogs.
sounds like 3 qualifying montages.
We got lots of montages.
Beautiful.
Cliche villains. Hello, Black Sigma.
Yeah.
The gooniest of goons.
The gooniest of goons.
We didn't even talk about their names. We have
They have names?
Zephyr, Pox, and Weevil.
Weevil?
Weevil.
I'm so glad that
Weevil.
you paid attention to that. I
That's
needed that.
Do they
incredible.
say
Right
it
now.
in the movie?
Or is it just in the credits?
It might just be in like the cast.
I think it's
but-
just in the cast notes.
Weevil.
but it might be like, you know how they have like Lock, Shock, and Barrel
Yeah.
in
yeah,
Nightmare
yeah.
Before Christmas? And like
Mm.
they don't say it a lot, but you're like, oh yeah, that's them. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's Zephyr, Pox, and Weevil. Yeah, of course.
That's so funny. I wonder if that's some kind of like deep cut reference to something that we just don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
The like writer threw in there.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Clothes or items you owned.
Oh, Al had something.
I have the Hawaiian shirt that Bart was wearing in a different color.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
nice.
I don't
Was
have
yours
it
sunrise
accessible
instead
to
of
me
sunset,
right now,
or-
but it yes. No, mine was teal and purple,
Oh, okay.
but it's like the same shirt. It is like Google Hawaiian shirt. You can buy it on the internet. And I think I got mine in 2016, so it's kind of around the same time. So
All right. I'll count it.
cool.
Okay, here's something actually that I was thinking about because I don't have a Letterman jacket. I have a letter like from my varsity soccer team, but I don't have a Letterman jacket. This is a trope that I don't think is real, but I could be wrong. No one walked around my school wearing Letterman jackets.
No.
no.
Oh, Schomburg, you did.
Really?
I mean, like
on a
'cause,
regular basis?
I mean, people wore them a lot when it was cold outside. I don't know that they wore them
Huh.
so much like in class, but a lot of people had them.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because
it was
every
like
movie and
something.
TV
Val, 'cause
show.
you're from, you went to Buffalo Grove.
No, I went to Deerfield, but either way, like
Yeah, that you went to Deerfield.
guys did not walk around. No one walked around wearing Letterman jackets on a regular
Wow.
basis. Yeah.
I think media just loves it because it's a good way to, like, if you give a
Oh, it's
panning shot of a
easy-
classroom, you're
yeah.
like, those 3 are the jocks.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why they always have like, I mean, Glee is a great example of this, having the cheerleaders wear their cheerleading uniforms every day.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Well,
No one
on
ever did that.
Fridays we did.
Well,
so,
right.
like-
Like when you had
yeah,
a
but
game
not
or
every day. Mm-hmm.
something. Right. Like we would wear, like if we had a soccer game, we would wear something. Like sometimes
Yeah.
we'd just wear our jersey, but like sometimes we would have, we'd coordinate like something else.
Dress
right?
up.
Yeah. But like at least I don't remember anyone ever wearing Letterman jackets around. So I was curious. Okay. All right. We are at Rotten Tomatoes, 40 to 60%. So the way that this works is generally Al knows the score, I don't, and I guess. In this case, Al and Evan know the score, and Mallory and I do not. So we are both going to guess.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yes. If the score is actually between 40 and 60, then we get this box. If we are within 5%, we can just feel cool and good. If we get both, amazing. Mallory, would you like to go first?
I'll go first. Evan and I have run into something on our podcast lately where I talk about, I'm like, yeah, this show did not have like every review that you like, a written review that you read is poor. And then you look on Rotten Tomatoes and it's like 97. So I feel like I need to give this a higher number than I think. Like I have like where my gut is, and I feel like I need to bump that up by like 20% conservatively. I'm going to put this at like a 76
Wow.
on Rotten Tomatoes, just because we've run into it so often where I'm like, this should have a low rating, and the tomato meter is way too high.
Yes.
So I'm going to say like a cool 76.
I too run into this, but I also know that it's relatively rare to get one that's in the 70s or above. So I'm going to guess 65.
Evan?
Well, the Rotten Tomato meter, the thermometer, if you will, is at a 55.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's that was my like
Gut, and then you
Gut.
added 20.
And then I went.
Man,
I
I
went
was
up,
gonna
yeah.
have you say both, but then I was like, no, I want her to say like what she think. Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Al, I almost guessed like almost exactly that, because I was like, usually Al's rating is close to what the actual.
What can I say? I'm a genius.
You know what how the people feel.
Yes.
Oh, I am a people of the person.
She eats a lot of tomatoes. She knows
Yeah.
what she's talking about.
Oh yeah.
So many tomatoes.
So
Yeah.
many tomatoes.
So we get the box.
Yay.
But you guys don't. You
That's fine.
suck.
Yes. This is true.
Good job, Evan. We did it.
We read.
We read.
A happily ever after. I mean, I'm inclined to say yes. It's not the like everybody got together and it's a happily ever after. It's like we've also developed as like individual
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
Like we feel better about our own personal characters, but now I do also happen to be dating the jock. Yes.
Yeah.
I
They
don't-
also didn't go to prison. So
Yes.
check.
So happy.
We
Yes.
are all happy.
Huge.
Yes, for sure.
And as far as we know, Albert's also living happily ever after because
Yeah, it's just like in
really know.
space.
He was
Yeah.
the
I know where he is.
Northern Lights, maybe?
Oh yeah,
was
this
a
is
trip.
like an origin story for the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Like stories passed down from our ancestors. Albert is now shining upon in the sky.
Mhm.
Aurora alborealis. Right?
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
that is it.
That's good.
Yes.
Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. Almost kissing. This is the easiest check mark of all time. It's the plot
yeah.
point. It's that they almost kiss and then they don't.
Mhm. Mhm.
I love it. Someone who became famous. Good chunk of people in
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Mhm. Betraying of one's real friends or values. I mean, May kind of does, because she's
Yeah.
like flat out ignoring Gabby's like warnings, especially like when Gabby like outright tells her that he's a robot, and she just like is like, no, I'm happy. So, so I definitely think that she enters into that territory for sure.
I feel like it definitely doesn't last as long as in a lot of other movies.
No.
And like it's not the plot point, but yeah, definitely happens.
I also weirdly like that, like, yes, they clearly get in an argument. When they make up to each other, I'm like, this is a way that friends actually argue with one another. Like,
Mhm.
this feels like, when you have someone you're that close with and you're like,
Mhm.
I was wrong. The other person's like, I was also wrong. And then they
Yeah.
immediately are just like good again. I was like,
Yeah.
that is such a best friend argument trope
Mhm.
that I'm fully on board with.
Mhm. Yep. Totally.
Narrator. I'm
No.
not. I don't think we have everything. Like there were some like good ways of like how they edited things,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not a narrator. It is not.
No. And they could have, right? Because there could have been the like, you might be wondering how we got into this situation.
And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful
They
we did
didn't.
not. I hate a narrator. Hate.
Even when
Obvi-
it's one of the characters and not just like an amorphous. Like I don't like an amorphous narrator, but
Yeah.
like even if it's a character,
She just blanket dislike.
All
blanket
narrators.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only ones I'll accept are Into the Woods and The Holiday.
Ooh, the holiday is good.
Ooh,
That is good for that.
And you forget that it starts with a narrator because it didn't need it. It didn't
That's
need a
true.
narrator in the beginning.
Mhm.
That's true. God, I just want Kate Winslet to be happy.
I know. It's
So we all.
Obviously bad special effect or stunt. Let's go through the nominees, shall we? We have Albert exploding at the end, which was pretty bad. We have Albert being made in the beginning, which was also pretty bad. He's made with, if I look at my notes here, lightning that just circles from the ceiling and hits the water.
He's the Vision. in,
Yeah. He's
Marvel.
Vision.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. But I think the dark horse nominee is when Albert throws a football at a wide receiver and knocks him clean off his feet into a shed. And the coach is like, this is the greatest day of my life. I have a weapon on my team.
The least realistic part of that is that kid is totally fine after that happens. He would be deceased.
And more of the like
to his funeral.
jump cut to them lowering him in the ground. More of the like, I believe the high concept, but get annoyed at the nitty gritty. At football practices, like I'm a football coach, and at football practices, the only person who wears a red jersey is the quarterback.
Right.
And everybody on their team is practicing in their red jerseys. And I'm like, that is not how football practices go. You'd have one be like a black practice jersey, one be a white practice jersey, and the quarterbacks have red so that you don't hit them because quarterbacks are special and need to be protected. But they're special little angels.
They're fragile babies.
So I was looking at them like, they're all quarterbacks. Suspicious. But
Wow, I didn't know you coached football. Look at that.
Yes.
They do have football in Canada.
we
You
got
were
football in
lying.
Canada. It's weird. It's played on poutine and ice, but
It moves a lot slower because you're in like waist deep snow.
yeah,
but we do
you're
our best.
trudging the whole time.
Disney Channel star.
Jack.
Yup. A lot.
Yeah.
A number of them.
Turn into them for sure, too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Al. Musical number.
Valerie never hated it, but I will take any opportunity I can to check this box. I love you like a love song, baby.
Magic.
Science magic.
I was gonna
So
say.
I
I was
don't-
gonna say, is it magic or is it science?
It's
Yes.
well, on this show,
Science is the real magic on this show.
I was willing to count it regardless because the whole how they made the robot scene. I feel generous calling it science. I feel
Yeah.
like I should call it magic. Like
Yeah.
they literally have like a vial of sensitivity that they poured in for
Right.
him.
Yeah.
So like
And I'm going to need that.
yeah.
I think it was funny that they essentially overworked the machine by making too good of a man, of
Right.
a boy.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what you got to do is balance, and I've also hit the button where it's like addicted to sports gambling, and like
Right.
you gotta like balance it out.
Lazy.
Bad with finances.
Yeah. Doesn't
Yeah.
fold the laundry.
Kinda
Just
hits
Loves
on your-
onions.
Kind of hits on your friends, like
Yeah.
you had to balance it out
It's on your friends.
because they're like, this is too. They made too good of a boy, and they
Right.
need to dial it back.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Um,
That's so funny.
someone says the title of the movie. I didn't clock anyone saying we're gonna build a better boy. This is how to build a better boy.
Yeah.
They did say like something along the lines of like building a good boyfriend, but
Yeah.
like that also is not a good movie title. So
No.
Not
I
the
can say
same.
this one's probably a no.
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 Yeah.
It's a no.
I think that anytime you say the title of the movie, you need to make direct eye contact down the barrel of the camera. This is how we're
Yeah.
going to build a better boy.
And then we can all sit there and check it off.
Yes.
Mhm.
Scooby Dude.
No. Because if anything, they're kind of being Scooby Dooed by the
Yeah, that's
army.
true.
yeah, I don't think there's really like something to Scooby Doo in this
No.
particular scenario.
I feel like the closest thing to Scooby doing is Bart like just bamboozling his dad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the closest thing.
Yeah.
The heroes create the problem. Oh yes.
Oh,
they do.
yeah.
Oh my god, they literally created the problem.
Literally.
Mhm.
Literally.
Our last square is the lead is a fish out of water. And I could see it being argued either way, I will say. I could see it being argued either way. I don't think that she's a fish out of water because, like you said, like she's not moving to a new town.
Mhm.
Like neither of them are moving. Neither of them are like having to meet new people or like
Mhm.
try new things or things
Mhm.
like that. But I think once she has that like little taste of popularity,
Mm.
that's very foreign and that's
Mm.
maybe, but
Hmm.
I don't think it's enough to
Yeah.
really count.
Yeah. I don't know if I see it. And even Albert, who is literally a fish out of water, is
In there like a
not.
dirty shirt.
Yeah, he's kind of just like, yeah, this is great. I'm gonna fit right in. So I don't think that it's like enough to qualify.
Mhm.
Anyone feel
Okay.
differently? No.
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 Okay. Al.
All right. Well, there are 2 co-hosts for our podcast and 2 co-hosts for the podcast we have guesting today, which means there's 2 bingos that we got today.
Woo!
We have our G line, which is clunky metaphor, montage sequence, almost kissing, Disney Channel star, and heroes create the problem. And our middle row, which is closer items you own, Rotten Tomatoes 40 to 60, happily ever after, almost kissing, and someone who became famous.
Nice.
Almost kissing, anchoring today.
Yep.
Because
Yes.
it is the
Yep.
main
It
crux
is-
of the plot.
A huge one.
And thank God for it.
Yes.
Because I love an almost kiss, because in order to real kiss, you have to almost kiss. All right. Thank you for that. Now we've come to game time. Okay, so this game is called To Robot or Not To Robot. Does this robot movie have a sequel?
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So everyone will get to guess. And so you will guess by saying to robot. So you'll put up 2 fingers, or you'll put thumbs down. You'll say not to robot.
Okay.
And some of these might be easy. I don't know. I don't think I've seen any of them except for maybe one. Okay. First question. There are 5.
Okay.
First movie is Short Circuit.
No to
No.
robot.
Okay, Val says no. Evan says no. Mallory says to robot. Yes, there is a Short Circuit 2.
Oof.
And,
Shorter circuit.
Shorter. Too short, too circuit. Yes, Mallory gets 1 point. All right. Number 2 is the movie Robots. Robots.
Oh,
It
like
is
the cartoon?
animated.
No.
I don't think there's a robot.
Everyone here has said not to robot, and that's correct. There is no robots.
I like
2.
that movie. I think
Great
it's underrated.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that movie. I think Robin Williams is in it. 1, 2.
Yep.
I like when the robot does. I like it when you do that right there, right there. As soon as you hit
Good.
you walk in, I know you're her. I know you're her. I like that part.
Jennifer Coolidge playing a robot who just has a giant bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, RoboCop.
Oh, I definitely think there's
There's-
a sequel. Yeah.
There's got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
more than one of
I
those.
feel like there's like 10.
Everyone says to robot, and that is correct.
Woo!
There is RoboCop 2. Okay. iRobot.
Ooh, I don't think so.
Everyone here says not to robot, and that is correct. All right. Our last one, because it was really hard to find robot movies that you guys know there's a Transformers 2, you know, like, okay.
There's like a Transformers 9. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yes.
like, yeah, okay. Last one is The Iron Giant.
Oh, I don't.
Ooh.
Did it go straight to DVD?
I don't think so.
Oh, God.
At least I hope not.
I'm
Oh, God.
strategically, because I know that Mallory's a point ahead.
Okay. Val says not to robot. Mal says not to robot. Evan says to robot. And the answer is not to robot.
You
Dang.
can't touch that movie. You can't touch it.
No.
Which means we had a first, second, third place.
Yeah.
Mallory
Wow.
first with all of them correct. Val in second place with 4. And Evan, so sorry. Try again later. Your name doesn't rhyme with Al, Val, or Mal. You got 3 points.
I was
Thank you
wondering
for playing.
if listeners would clue into that. I'm the one who's
You're the one.
out. I need to
There's
change
also
it.
something else that makes you different, but
We're not pointing
we'll
that
leave
out.
that up to interpretation.
Yeah, none of us coach football.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows a lot about football.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing To Robot or Not To Robot. And thank you to the robot that is my phone that didn't die while playing it.
Wow, thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been absolutely fantastic. I think I said
has.
this last time when we were on your podcast, but I could do this for like 8 more hours.
Yeah.
You are both amazing and you're wonderful. And I cannot wait until both of you visit Chicago either together or individually because me and
God,
Val
that
are
sounds fun.
harassing you while you're here.
Yes, we are.
Thank you so much for having us.
It was so fun.
That's a great time.
So
I feel like I enjoyed the movie the more I talked about it. I feel like watching
Oh,
it at home by
wow.
myself,
Yeah.
I was like, meh. And then talking about it more, I'm like, you know what? It's actually got some moments.
Yeah.
I do think having to take extensive notes as well changes the vibes a little bit when you're like,
Definitely.
oh, I need to like rewind to write that down. Or you're like, okay, I have to actually like sit and pay attention. I can't,
Mhm.
play Disney Emoji Blitz while I'm watching.
we
Yes, Val, what are we watching next week?
are watching something called Bad Hair Day.
Oh boy.
which
Oh,
Val,
boy.
do we have to?
I am so nervous about.
Do we have to watch it?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
But we'll pray that it's not bad.
Okay. All right. Oh, where can our listeners find you both on the internet?
Yes, Mallory, go for it. You do this again every time we do our podcast.
Please find us on Instagram at PopCapsulePod. We've abandoned Twitter because
Why not?
reasons. Why not? So yeah, please find us on Instagram at PopCapsulePod. We also have our Facebook page at Pop Capsule Podcast, but Instagram's always the best place to get hold of us or connect with us. And you can listen to our pod wherever you get your own podcasts.
Yeah, we drop episodes every Thursday about whatever happened that week 10 and 20 years ago. So recently things we've covered have been like The Dress was 10 years ago of like what color was it? Yeah. We
We've
just
had some
covered The Pacifier
Oscars.
with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end of Parks and Recreation. Like we get a little bit of everything. So
Yeah, I feel like The Pacifier is maybe not one of our like highlights, but
I suffered through
Covered it.
part of that movie for the podcast. I'm going to get as much airtime out of it as I can.
yeah.
Incredible.
Hey, who knows what big pacifier fans we have here listening to our pod? You don't
Yeah.
know.
There's somebody who's just like, I think Vin Diesel needs to be a dad more.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys again. This has been so fun, and hopefully we'll find another excuse to talk to you guys soon.
Oh, we definitely will.
Thank you. I hope so.
Bye, Val.
Bye, Al. Bye, Mallory and Evan.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was produced by me,
And me.
and it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at dcommentaries.
D-Commentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.